We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Hell yes, I get to ride the dragon.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
I know Kung Fu.
Tank, you want to switch? You want to switch?
No, I'm good. I got it.
Stay down.
I could do this all day.
If you had to transform into one mythical creature and then get married to a different mythical creature.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Maximum effort.
How about a magic trick?
HR.
Not an animal.
HR. Is HR.
Somebody call HR down here.
That man is playing Galaga.
Welcome to the Nerds from Work, your weekly escape into the world of geeks, nerds, and people that are not that far from home. I'm home. I'm back.
Hey.
I'm back. I made it. I was far from home, but now I'm home.
Is your mom there?
No, my mom doesn't live here. This is my house. I bought this house.
I bet that's green screen.
I'm actually still there. This is all green screen. Even the little lid in the background. That's all green screen. Makes it look legit.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So welcome, everybody. If you're joining us, this is our second show of the new season. I hope you enjoyed the intro that Tank put together. I'm still getting the hang of that thing, and it is awesome.
I still flinch. Yeah.
I knew if I didn't put John Wick in it that Jason would give me a bunch of shit. So I had to make sure there was some John Wick in it.
If you're listening to iTunes, you would not understand that there's a John Wick reference because it's the pencil scene from John Wick.
Yes.
And I believe it's right. It's linked up nice with the Joker's magic trick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same magic trick.
Yeah, it's weird.
So good.
Oh, God.
So good.
It's almost like it was on purpose.
Yeah, weird.
Funny enough, I don't really flinch for the Jokers for some reason. Like, it doesn't.
Because it's not bloody. It's just a pencil and then no pencil. Versus John Wick, it's like you still see the pencil sticking out of the back of the dude's head.
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
probably it. Because it's
so gnarly. I love it.
It is so visceral.
So before we get into what we've been doing, my ties to that scene when I was a kid,
I know this.
my
story.
dad told me to, if I ever got in a fight at school, to stab them with a pencil, break it, and punch the pencil every time.
True story. I've heard his dad tell that exact story.
Yeah. Like you stick them like in the, not where it would kill them, but you just get them in like the shoulder area, like the middle part. Yeah. And you break the pencil and you just punch them every time. So the pencil
so much
in,
right? Yeah, you could train with his dad. Like it actually, like the way Jason is today makes so much sense when you hang out with his dad on a regular basis.
That is.
Yeah.
I want to be respectful, so I would just shut up. But that is wow.
Because his dad could also kill you with that same pencil. So.
Oh, you think?
I do actually.
I mean, let's be honest. First of all, this is all about like the mind, right? The fact that you can even conceive of that makes me wonder, what are you not saying?
Yeah.
Like for you, that's okay to say. That's okay to conceive of, and I'll give you this one for free. But I have like 5,000 other ways I could mess you up.
Yeah, the pencil is the easiest one. That's I love that scene just because every time it just reminds me of my childhood. How fucked up is that? Like when I said it out loud.
How fucked up is that, right?
When I said it out loud.
Please do not edit that part out of the show.
No, that's absolutely
I don't care if we get an R rating for that. As long as
So
YouTube
funny.
looks over our stuff and says, okay, this is kind of gross or gruesome, put a warning. No, that needs to stay in. Good.
When you say it out loud, like, yeah, you might have a messed up childhood.
Every time I see John Wick stab a man with a pencil, I think of my dad. That is, wow. That's epic.
Kindergarten.
That's awesome.
Hold
Back
up,
in my adolescent years.
Wait, hold up. Please tell me you were at least in high school when he told you this.
Oh, no. That was
My
That
God.
was like kindergarten, first grade.
Okay, I nearly spilled my drink.
All right.
I swear, I almost put it on the edge of the table. That would have been cut. I got to do stuff.
That's awesome.
All right, Tank, what have you been up to this week?
I have been building a table for D&D. Did I talk about that last week? I can't remember. No? Okay. Yeah, so I'm building a gaming table for the home game that I run. We're like 3 weeks into it and probably have like another week worth of work left on it. But it's been a lot of fun. Like, because I don't do a lot of woodworking stuff usually, but it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, just been doing that. I'm gonna start building a Windows server, media server here pretty soon. Pretty
Show
pumped.
off.
Yeah. So I had a buddy
I
give
don't know
me
what that is.
it's where I'll be able to stream movies and TV shows from, so I don't have to I could theoretically, if I do it right, I could stop paying for like
Oh.
Netflix, Hulu, all those. I would find alternate ways of acquiring said media and then be able to
Gotcha.
stream it onto
Gotcha.
just send it to like Chromecast and stuff. So
Okay, so we got to edit that part out now.
I mean, it's not the first time I've said something like that. So
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure none of the people watching will turn you in. So
yeah, my ISP is not watching this. I really don't care.
just don't say who they
so
Yeah.
built a table and hacking Netflix is
That's a pretty succinct way to say it. Yeah.
okay. And that could easily be a headliner for our show.
You could.
Rue, what have you been up to this week, man?
Nothing criminal. Just saying right now. I have been reading possibly the weirdest comic book I've ever read. Saga. Like, I decided to read Saga. I heard so much about it. Like, oh, Saga's great. Saga's this. Every single time I go online, I want to pick a comic book. It's one of the ones that's out there people are reading. So I decided to read it. I'm still a little queasy, I gotta say, but it is surprisingly captivating. Like, it's really good writing. It's
Kind of like watching a wreck.
no,
You
it's
can't
like
turn away.
it's like a comic book version of Game of Thrones if it met Star Wars in space with all the weirdest creatures you can imagine.
That sounds amazing.
I know, yes. But I mean, when you see a regular dude with horns having sex with some kind of spider, then yeah, that's enough to make you stop and think, what were you on when you came up with
Acid.
that?
I was about to say,
I'm talking-
Acid is the
I'm
answer.
talking
probably
a
several
human-
things.
A humanoid spider with 8 legs and 8 eyes and the whole, yeah. Like they hold. There's because they had a comic convention in India, and accidentally gave everybody who showed up for that thing a free copy. That included a lot of kids. It sparked a legal action that's still going on today. So
That's awesome.
I'm like, what is in this comic book? And I took a look, and I can absolutely see myself suing if anybody gave that to my kid. Shoot, each of us here would sue, and we love comic books and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much been like, I got to tell you, that's the highlight of my week. Like, yeah, spider sex. That's the highlight.
Spider sex.
Oh, we should have made him go last. I would have made an excellent segue.
Trust me,
Yeah.
Jason
I
Jason
didn't
can
know
top
that
that.
Naru was reading Spider Sex.
I didn't know I was either. That's the point.
See, you guys say that I'm the one with problems just because I'm hyper violent. I mean, come on, he's reading Spider Sex.
Hey, I'm not hurting it. Well, I don't know. Let me not say that just yet. I'm probably hurting myself.
What about all those arachnoids? Okay,
God, man.
they're people spiders too.
They're in a whole different galaxy, so I don't think I have much to worry about. I can commit all the crimes I want against them here. I'm good.
Hate crimes.
Oh man, it's
so
creepy stuff. That's all I'll say. It's
Uh,
but if you read the first 5 comic issues, you will be hooked. I guarantee it. Shoot.
I think I'm gonna try it out because one of our mutual friends told me that I should definitely check it out
Okay.
like a long time ago.
What? No shout out to the person?
Well, I don't know if he wants his name shout. He's too small to get a full shout out.
I'm sorry.
I know he listens to the show, so I mean, he knows who he is. So I've actually been watching a show called Baki, which is an anime. Yeah. And if you haven't heard of it, we actually did a pre-show on it because Tank and I both watched it.
I'm confused. You're watching anime?
I
Dude,
did.
he turned me onto it. Jason texted me and was like, dude, you should watch Baki. I was like, okay, cool. Let me see what it is. And I pulled it up and then saw it was an anime. I was like, holy shit, he's actually voluntarily watching. But to be fair, it's really violent and bloody and about fighting. So it actually kind of fits.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah. So it's anime.
Yeah, it said martial arts tournament. I was like, ooh,
Ooh, piece of candy.
This happened to be on
candy.
Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
That explains a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going out of my way to watch an anime.
You
let's
know
be
what I'm
clear.
saying? I'm like, how's you know what I'm saying? Like, this is so uncharacteristic. Like, first of all, he's watching an anime. Secondly, I'm like, where did he find this? It had to be on Netflix. Like, just no
Oh, yeah.
way.
Oh yeah.
You tell Jason he's got to get some obscure website and dig it up and what? Nah. Nope.
No. Mm-mm.
No.
Nah, that's too much work. That one's actually really cool. And between that, the new season of Magicians is also on Netflix. So
That
you guys know I'm
Wait, the new season or the last season?
It's the third season.
Oh, okay.
Third season of The Magicians is now on Netflix. So I've been watching that because you guys know I love magic stuff. I don't know why. It's
Wait,
weird.
were you up to date? I thought you stopped in like season 2 or 1. Or
See,
something.
that was me. I only made it like
Oh, you okay.
3 episodes into season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm all in.
Because I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the new season, like season
Just
4, I think.
Fucked up.
It's super fucked up,
Yeah.
but I dig it because I like magic and
Because you're kind of fucked up.
Oh,
yeah.
Saga has magic as well.
which is why I'm thinking about reading it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Game of
then-
Thrones / that. Yeah. Oof. God.
Oh, big announcement. Yeah, actually getting some stuff together for our live appearances this year. So that's how I've been doing managerial things. So cheers to that.
We'll make sure those will all be updated on the website as soon as we are allowed to update.
Exactly. And on the website, we'll have, the times and the locations and all that. Because I know at Dragon Con last year, I applied to Dragon Con. What a quinky dink, right? But I know that the podcast track that we're on, I know that there was talk of us getting another room this year. We don't know yet, so please don't hold us to that. But the podcast track where we are and where podcasts always go, it's kind of in the basement, and there's not a lot of signage. So when I applied, they're like, how could we make podcast track better? Or like now they're calling it the social media track.
So- What?
Really?
Not social media.
Well, not social media. What is it called? The media track. It's
I
the
think it's called media.
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, it's the
Not social media. It's like
it's just digital media.
digital
track.
media. That's what it is.
Yeah, Dragon Con digital media track. So the digital media track is like down in the basement, and they're like, "How could we make this better?" And I was like, "More signs."
Yeah.
Like, unless you walk into the basement on accident, you have no idea where we are.
This is true. It is kind of tucked away.
And yes, I'm saying that on this show so that way if you hear it and you work for Dragon Con, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know who I'm talking to. Put up signs. Come on, guys. What is this? Amateur hour at the Apollo? Let's get some signs. So yeah. I've been applying to a lot of stuff for us and just reaching out to get more live appearances for you guys. Just so that way you guys get face-to-face time with us, and we get to see our fans that come out to all of our shows. And, that's actually awesome that we do have fans that go to our shows.
I know.
Yeah,
Right?
that's cool.
Love you guys.
It is
All 10,000 of you.
Yeah, all 10 of you.
More accurate.
Yeah, no, we love seeing you guys in person, and, we wouldn't ask to do live shows if we didn't enjoy hanging out with you guys. And if you haven't been to one of our live shows, you definitely should try it out. They asked me why, one of the places was like, why should you do a live show? Or why do you deserve to do a live show? And I was like, well, honestly, everybody, we try to make the fans feel like they're in the show with us. It's not just us talking to you. We involve the audience, and, I think it's a good time.
We're also drinking a lot, but we do think it's a good time.
Yeah, we ought to. I mean, half the guys who show up at the show, yeah, they come in pretty.
Pretty toasted.
I had to create a safe word at the last one.
We
It
did.
was pineapple.
That's like the most popular safe word in the world. Like seriously.
Well, it was mostly because the guy was drinking out of a pineapple or something.
Yeah.
Was it?
I
He
hope
was drinking a
that-
pineapple
He
drink or
probably
something.
won't remember a thing that happened in that episode.
He probably won't. That,
Yeah.
dude,
No, he doesn't.
that dude was lit.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's one of those.
But I did stand up and dance like, was it Tom Hanks from Big?
Oh yeah.
True.
So-
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So come to the live shows. You never know what's gonna happen.
I know.
never know.
I know one thing that's never gonna happen. You're not gonna see me dance. So, yeah, you can take that to the bank.
We're spiking his tea at Dragon Con this year. It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Nah, that's it. I'm going on the fast.
We're not gonna give him a chair.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have 3 chairs.
He has to stand the whole time.
And then he's like, "Oh man, I don't like standing." So it's like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
I'm gonna lie on the
I'm
floor.
not
man.
dancing.
I'm gonna lie down on the floor. I mean, I don't care.
There's just a voice through the microphone.
I'll
You
just
don't
yeah.
see him.
I mean, if some people could have a guy connect from a whole other country, then I can. Yeah, I can lie on the floor. All you need
Just
is my
talk real
sexy
loud.
voice.
We'll just hand the microphone down to you.
My sexy voice alone. That's all you need. Like that's seriously.
So yeah, this week's been pretty busy for us. It sounds like, and our 4th member is not here because he's studying for his SATs. So
Yeah. All the best, man. It's about time.
isn't that what you do when you're graduating to be a doctor?
Yeah, something like that. I think those are the right letters.
Yeah. Nah, man, Brandon, we wish you the best, and fuck you. All right. Next. All right, so we got into what we were doing. Let's go ahead and let's just get into this fucking episode because this one is going to be long, and I know it because we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home. If you could not tell from the intro or our spider fucking, yeah, we're going to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. And the international trailer and the American trailer, I don't know why they're 2 separate ones. Apparently those have both dropped this week. So we're going to get into a little bit about what we think about the trailers and where we think it's going. So I really don't want to be the person that opens it up because I feel like I've got a really negative vibe towards it. So why don't we go with the
you
better?
better start.
Yo, with the who's starting?
The fence sitter.
No, I liked it, man. I thought it was good.
Okay, fuck you, Nuru. You're next.
I'm not on the fence either. Just for the record.
Go ahead, Tank.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. Like, it gave us a little bit of story. I didn't realize Jake Gyllenhaal was going to be in it because I've stopped paying attention to some of the news that comes out of Hollywood.
Wow.
I don't pay this. Yeah, I don't pay.
Actually surprised by that. That's nice.
I was. I had no idea Jake Gyllenhaal was going to be in it, and I like him. And so yeah, I thought it was really cool. But it didn't do so much. It didn't give away the entire movie. Marvel's usually pretty good about it. DC has ruined me for trailers. Trailers used to not bother me until they did the trailer for BVS.
Oh,
No, BVS was literally like you can not watch BVS. You can watch the last trailer for BVS, and it's the entire movie. So, so yeah, it was for a trailer. Like the music was good. The way they cut it up was really good, and it gave me just enough story to get me hyped for it. Gave me some things that I didn't know was coming because I stopped paying attention, and so I'm pumped for it. I'm ready. I probably won't watch any more trailers for it, but I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
Okay. So Naru, I'm going to let you go last because
we need to end on an upper.
Yeah, we have to end on a good note, right?
Say too. Just saying.
Well, also Naru watched both the international and the American trailer, and Naru has got some insight to both, and he actually pointed things out to me and Tank about them. So that's why I'm actually letting Naru go. Oh shit, you're inside my mind. Maybe I had too many drinks. You can actually see why I'm being nice. Okay, so my thoughts are: did anybody else get fucking Spider-Man 3 flashbacks? Did anybody else get that shit?
When I didn't, but I see why you would.
I didn't. Although them making fun of Spider-Man 3 in Into the Spider-Verse was so good. I won't give away too much, but that was clutch. Anyway, so yes, I didn't know. I thought it was. I mean, yeah, he's getting a couple new suits, but
Not just the new suits, but like how many villains are going to be in this fucking movie?
I know, right? Yeah.
Well, they don't portray Mysterio as a villain in the trailer.
You know he's going to be a fucking villain. Mysterio is always a villain.
Well, they could make it a Baron Mordo type thing. He could be an ally for the whole film.
He could be, and that's what I'm hoping.
Baron Mordo's an ally all through, and at the end, he's like, "I'm done with y'all." Boom.
And that's kind of what I'm hoping happens is like at the end he realizes like he doesn't like Peter Parker for whatever reason, right? But like they work together to take down some of the enemies in Europe. But dude, it just has a real Spider-Man 3 vibe to me where like they even have a black suit, okay? And we know it's not the symbiote. It's the noir Spider-Man suit. I get it, right? But there's so many villains that I saw, and I was just like, fuck, even Sandman. So they have what? Sandman, there's some water one, Mysterio, and then I thought I saw something else that was in there. Nick Fury doing some weird shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, but why would you do this? Like, does anybody know that Spider-Man 3 was a fucking failure? Like, because Spider-Man 3 would have been great had you just kept one villain, like Spider-Man versus Venom, or Spider-Man versus Sandman, or any of the other fucking 800 villains that were in Spider-Man 3.
So the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the one that had literally had 4 different villains in it. Spider-Man 3 was just like, those are the 2 villains. It was just you cast Topher Grace as Venom.
Well, you had Venom. Who else was in Spider-Man 3, Rue? Sandman, Venom
was in it.
Was
Venom
one of the
was in
Goblins in it?
The Goblin's son, I think, was
yes, the Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
That's true. I forgot Hobgoblin was in it.
You had Hobgoblin and was Vulture. Vulture wasn't in it.
No, but I mean, they put some Easter eggs. I can't remember.
It's been so long since I've seen Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, and then he got the symbiote, right? Which is a story in itself.
Right.
It doesn't need to be fucking tied up with everything else.
Yeah.
And then it was fucking terrible, right? So like you take your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and you send him to Europe, which he even says it in things like, I don't think Europe needs your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which Naru is going to get to those Easter eggs a little later if you have not seen both the international and
licking your
the
mic.
American
How many
trailer.
times we don't tell you?
But yeah, to me, I just had a real Spider-Man 3 vibe, and I loved the original one, Homecoming. I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that they don't fuck it up. But it's such an easy franchise to fuck up. It feels to me like.
I'm a little confident, mainly because of the guys who wrote the script. They're the same guys who wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming. So my takeaway was, if they were able to craft a Vulture that I could get behind, and also probably one of the best villain hero confrontations on film in that car between Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and the Vulture.
That was
basically that was such a good scene. Like the
especially
twist,
Michael Keaton.
and they hit a twist in plain sight that nobody saw coming.
I will give you that. I loved that Vulture more than comic book Vulture.
Yeah. Oh, by far. Like he doesn't even. They don't even seem like the same person. But the fact that they were able to take us on this journey with Peter and think, oh, okay, fine, dude, just at least get this right. Go hang out with the girl, get the girl, and then come back and look for this guy. And then you walk into the house and he's standing right there. Hey, hi. And you're like, oh, crap. Like, I mean, I swear, I saw this in theaters and I flinched. I'm like, oh, my God. I didn't see it coming. And I pride myself on catching some of those things. And I thought, these guys are good. They took me out of my usual suspicious place. So I'm expecting them to do some kind of sleight of hand. Because, like, okay, take for example, we already know Mysterio is going to be a bad guy, right? We know this, but he's front and center. But at the same time, the trailer has all these other characters. Somebody told me that they're the Elementals. I'm like, are you sure? And I looked it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I think he's right, because the Elementals are these
that makes sense.
Group, Hydro Man, Sandman. I forget the other guy's name, but if you notice, the guy the form he's fighting is Hydro Man. initially I thought it might be one of those situations where Mysterio is trying to set up what looks like himself as a hero.
Right.
But I mean, that's an amazing amount of power to display if he's just trying to do an illusion. I mean, this knocks
Right.
Spider-Man down. This isn't an illusion. This is something he's actually fighting. It knocks Spider-Man on his ass. He's destroying a lot of places, and it looked pretty good. So I thought, okay, this could be the Elementals, which raises the specter of, like you said, too many villains. How are you going to craft a story where you can focus on everything and keep the ball running? But anyway, the things I liked about it were actually other things. I like the callbacks to, if you've been watching I forget what it's called now, the Spider-Man cartoon that's been on Disney recently, where he's like in high school, and then he becomes an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's working with all these other Spider-Man, all these other characters, Nova, White Tiger, and all these other kids. He gets recruited by Nick Fury. And Nick Fury basically talks to Kid Spider-Man, brings him over to S.H.I.E.L.D., and then he has to, first of all, he's working with them as a trainee. Then he becomes the guy training all the other kids. So I'm looking at that dynamic of him and Nick, and I see that exact same dynamic there. There's even a scene in the cartoon where he has the S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform, kind of like how Captain America does. Cap has the S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform. That's Cap. It's the stealth Cap suit. And I saw him in the cartoon, in the movie, when he switches and you see him in the stealth. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. So I'm liking the feels I'm getting, like the callbacks to all these other shows. But I still think that they haven't, like you said, Marvel has done a pretty good job of getting you interested and excited, but still revealing not too much about this. I mean, everything we've seen could take place in the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Easily.
So I was just thinking about this. How many Easter egg villains did we have in the first one? We had Prowler. We had Shocker.
Shocker was in it. Scorpion.
Who else?
Scorpion's at the end.
Scorpion was in it.
Scorpion.
The Vulture was obviously not an Easter egg.
Villain, right?
I think we had 3 Easter egg villains, actually. Yeah.
So, there were a few villains, and if you were to look at like a trailer, it has Shocker in the trailer.
Oh, from the first one?
Yeah, but Vulture is like the main one, right? So like what Naru is saying now, where it's like the Elementals, what if the Elementals is just like a 5-minute fight or a 10-minute
I know,
fight?
right? Exactly.
Like, boom.
And Mysterio.
Check out, in Homecoming, they had stuff in there that didn't even make it. I mean, the scene where Spider-Man is swinging and Iron Man is, kind of flying beside him.
Oh, yeah, through the city.
That was, that was
purely for the trailer.
Like, I saw the movie and thought, wait a sec.
We're missing something, yeah.
Did I miss that? It wasn't there. So yeah, you're right, man. That could be 5 minutes, literally.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm hoping is like Mysterio is the main bad guy.
I'll tell you the most interesting thing I've heard. You know what it is?
What?
The most interesting thing I've heard is that this movie literally kicks off 30 minutes after Avengers Endgame.
Ooh.
Yeah. I have no idea how they'll pull that off. Like, there must be a time jump somewhere. Like, assuming everything in Endgame gets resolved, because nobody looks sad. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see people looking all, oh. And there's speculation that Tony's not going to make it out of Endgame. So
I'd be down for that.
Notice Happy Hogan. Happy Hogan looks pretty at ease when he shows up and he's, flirting. Well, not flirting, but I love that scene where Peter's
That was pretty funny.
What just happened? How did you notice?
Everybody keeps hitting on Aunt May.
By the way, have you guys noticed the 10-year challenge on social media?
10 years?
Yes.
The 10-year challenge on social media?
Yeah.
Isn't Aunt May like the baddest 10-year challenge? Like from the way she looked, the way she looked in Spider-Man 3 and the way she looks in the new Spider-Man movies. Like, she's gone from the gray-haired old lady to this, this vivacious.
Well, that's why, like, if you notice her in Homecoming, they made her look a lot older for Homecoming than she did in Civil War. In Civil War, she looked very young, and then for Homecoming, she's got like glasses and like her hair is like not quite as like nicely done, and like her clothing is not quite so like scintillating or whatever.
People are like that.
Because people like that. Well, because people pitched a fit in Civil War. They're like, why is Aunt May young and hot? And so for Homecoming, they kind of went for like a happy medium. They kind of aged her hot.
A lot of people.
So I'm
Versatile
gonna
Man
go
is in their
back.
50s, y'all.
These are the new 30s. Duh.
Said
I'm
every
gonna
guy
go
who
back
likes
to
ghosts.
Endgame for a second, and my theory is that Cap and Iron Man do something to sacrifice themselves for everyone else,
And
then it
30
just
minutes
it
later,
wipes the
everybody's
slate
smiling.
clean, and it comes back to where nobody even knew.
Yeah.
Like Thanos is not even a thing.
But have they introduced anybody that could do that?
No. It'll be
If you
like
believe Samuel L. Jackson, yeah.
well, it'll be like a deal they make. Because with the gauntlet, they can do whatever they want, right?
And
Yeah.
they could be forced to make a deal with the forces, the powers that be.
Exactly.
Because a reversal on that scale, that brings into play some real heavy hitters in
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw it on social media. I think that Travis from the Blazing Defender Report posted it on Instagram. Did you guys see the Infinity Wars jigsaw puzzle level?
Yeah.
It's just a bag of sand.
That's
Yeah.
An expert level jigsaw puzzle.
That's just
a bag of sand.
That's
Pretty
just
good.
wrong. That's just wrong.
Yeah, my favorite picture is that scene where like Thanos has his hand on top of on top of Iron Man's head, and like Iron Man's like looking down, like all like solemn. And it's like, and at that point, Thanos unzipped his pants, revealing the 2 more Infinity Stones. So I was like, that's hilarious. It's so wrong.
There's all kinds of stuff out there, man.
Yeah, it's so good.
Hey, let's try to use our show and settle one thing. Like, it's amazing. Spider-Man, like Peter Parker basically says, I'm gonna leave my suit. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends and hang out with MJ. And he goes to Europe, and everybody's like, okay, he left his suit behind. How does he manage to have his suit when he's in Europe?
A trailer. They don't show you the whole movie. The trailer cuts together different random pieces of the movie. So even if what you're about to say wasn't in there, because the trailer does explain it, and like I've seen you post this on social media and stuff. But even if they didn't explain it in the trailer, you're assuming the trailer's linear. You're assuming that the beginning of the trailer is the beginning of the movie, and the end of the trailer is into the next part of the movie. No, the trailer chops it up.
This is where Tank is acting like the big grown up and is trying to bring common sense. The whole reason we have a show, the whole reason why we are nerds who argue about this stuff at work and
that's my argument.
Is because we love talking about this stuff. People are like, "Hey, how come he has this? What did they do there? It's something illogical. There's something illogical here." That's how people do this stuff. And I'm like, the funniest part for me was Travis, Blazing Defender Report, was doing his thing. And he was like, yeah, I think Nick Fury gives it to him. I'm like, dude.
Watch the other trailer.
Watch the other trailer. Yeah. Because in the other trailer, it turns out Aunt May actually snuck his suit into his bag. So
I'm actually down with Aunt May knowing that he's Spider-Man.
I'm down, but kind of upset at the same time. Like the purist in me is like, the whole dynamic is she doesn't know. So she's like always trying to make sure he's safe. So not only does he have to keep it from her to protect her, he also has to try to find ways around her to help people. So I'm like, I get that. But they've reinvented the whole thing, and they've basically jumped right into the whole, oh, in this universe, she knows. And not only does she know, she's actually doing friggin' PR for the guy. Like she's at places and speaking, yay! I'm like, don't you think people might put together that?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
you were standing there, your nephew is nowhere to be found, but there's this guy who stands about his height.
Which, by the way, let's get back to the trailer where he's like, oh, I love Spider-Man. He's got a kick-ass suit. He protects the neighborhood. He's awesome. What's up, dickhead?
What's up, dickhead?
Like, oh my God. Flash Thompson is funny. Like the guy they cast. I wasn't sure about the casting initially, I'll be honest, because I always pictured Flash as being the stereotypical jock, big, guy. But I think one of the things they addressed in Homecoming was the fact that a bully doesn't have to be the biggest guy in the room.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. Modern day bullies are sometimes they're the wittiest guys around. It's not so much that they're not necessarily the biggest. They just have the wit, the influence, and they can mess up kids' lives with a tweet.
Yeah.
I'm glad they chose him for Flash, because it is a modern day Spider-Man. So, what I was going to say is in the '90s cartoon Spider-Man, which we all know is totally canon. You know, Man Spider, that's real shit. Aunt May knew he was Spider-Man in that cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she did.
She knew he was Spider-Man there,
She found
but
out eventually.
right. But she didn't come out and like say, "Oh, you're Spider-Man." But she would do things like, people need you or whatever, and like hint that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And in Civil War, he was the leverage point in the original, not the movie Tank, in the comic book Civil
Right.
War.
I know
Spider-Man was the leverage point because in the comic book Civil War, it was between superheroes registering or not registering their secret identities.
Right.
And some people already knew who Spider-Man was, but some people didn't, and that's why he was like in the middle, because like MJ knew and a couple other people knew, so it wasn't like it was very secret. So yeah, in the comic book versions, his secret identity has always been kind of that on the fence identity. So the fact that his friends know and his aunt knows, I'm cool with it.
Have you seen Into the Spider-Verse yet?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I want to. I just haven't had the chance.
I'll just say that one of the versions of, because they have different versions of Spider-Man in there, but one of those versions, Aunt May not only knows, she's pretty much she's like Q.
Yeah, for real.
She's like Q to his Bond. Like she runs stuff. So I can see this escalating to that point. Like she's the girl who liaises with Tony Stark's people to get the tech he needs, apparently. Which, by the way, it's still pissing off people that they're not letting Spider-Man show himself as the genius he is to build his own stuff. He's still
young. Like
he built, in the comics, he built, for example, he built his own web shooters as a kid.
Right.
So
well, like he was building his own web in the movie.
He did, but you know what I mean. Like they feel like he's over reliant on Tony, and it's like, come on, man, let Spider-Man be Spider-Man. But I think for me, one of the more interesting things is the whole dynamic of how Aunt May goes from what the at the end of
that scene is so clutch,
and then now she's standing in front of a microphone, Spider-Man. I'm like, wow, that's we've been away for a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
we need to get caught back up. What's been going on, people?
Or maybe she does know that he died, in the snapshot, whatever the hell you want to call it, and now that he's back, she's kind of like, okay, well, or maybe Spider-Man's.
No. Let's think about that as a mother figure.
Forget mother figure. I saw that scene and I'm like, yeah, dude, are you okay? Like, there's no way she sees that and she's like, yay.
Yeah, let's keep being a superhero.
Yeah.
Moms would be like, fuck that.
That's proof right there.
Put your suit up.
That's
you're
proof
done.
right there.
Like,
that's proof right there.
Yeah.
They have rewritten history somehow. There's no other way. Because if she even knew that he turned to dust, yeah, that's it. Although to be fair,
you're done.
He could have turned to dust in his gym clothes, like,
So going back to what Naru was saying about people not liking him working with Iron Man so much, let's be fucking honest. If you had a billionaire playboy giving you super suits, wouldn't you fucking take them?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think that that's the problem. I think the problem is that the writers thought they needed Iron Man to hold the movie up.
Yeah.
Because I totally think that movie would hold its own without Iron Man in it at all.
I can see that.
Naru is trying to find a reason for Iron Man to be in the movie, but he didn't come right.
I'll be honest. I didn't think he should have been in the movie, but after seeing that movie, I'm trying to mentally take him out and try to figure out what. Because I mean, to be fair, he probably had only like 4 scenes,
right,
in the movie. That could have been some other hero. That could have been Cap.
Well, I'm saying like they didn't need star power for that movie.
No,
it could have easily just been a tie-in, and I think
I don't know, man. $880 million.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have done that without Tony Stark. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I mean,
like story.
I'm just saying,
right?
Story-wise, it didn't need a star.
Exactly.
But this is a business, dude.
Sure.
which is the only reason that he was in there. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Probably got
and
paid $50 million. I hate you, Robert Downey Jr. 3 days of
Well,
work. Oh my God.
that's also the answer to why he's relying on Iron Man for everything. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Peter Parker is intelligent. Yes, he can do all these things, but they have paychecks, right? And they need to pay all of these people. So, okay, let's throw Robert Downey Jr. in here. You know what I mean?
Have you seen the memes where Iron Man like blows his nose with a $100 bill and tosses it away, and then Spider-Man swings by and grabs it? Whoa!
I have seen that. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are funny.
Money talks, baby. Like Batman said, my superpower is I'm rich.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying is, like, I think that these movies would do okay. Not okay. I think that story-wise they would hold up on their own without star power. But how long have we been running, Tank?
Almost 45 minutes.
Perfect. Let's talk about Mysterio and how badass that is.
I'll tell you my one thing I liked about Mysterio. The second he pops up, because for some reason, I'll look at everything, but I was avoiding a whole lot of the reveals, the sneak camera, cell phone footage, and all that stuff. Then he pops up out of the smoke. Boom. My first thought was, good work, guys. Like, the suit looks good. He wasn't with the helmets. I'm like, okay, Mysterio's never seen without the fishbowl. So,
and then we get the fishbowl in the next scene, though.
oh, we do, but in public, you're supposed to be the secret. That's the whole idea.
I'm digging it. The suit was awesome, and like Naru said, without the fishbowl, like, yes, you see it's Jake Gyllenhaal, and yes, that could just be a cash grab for the trailer.
Quick warning to them, though. If that suit materializes over his head like Iron Man's and Black Panther, I'll be pissed off. Like, that's
like, I think it would be sweet if it was like a combat only thing, right? Like, it just materializes when he needs it.
Yeah.
Or when he's trying to do the magic, then it comes over his head because, like, for whatever reason, like, he needs it to do magic. But when he just shows up, like, that would be a good deterrent if he's the quote unquote hero for, for Italy or whatever, then okay, yeah, you need to see a human face. But then when he goes to combat, then he gains the helmet.
I think the thing I liked the most about Mysterio, though, was how, like, okay, Mysterio's a guy who pretends to have magical powers, right? He pretends to have all these magical skills, but he's basically using his tricks and illusions to deceive everybody around him. I like the fact that when he's blasting, the things he's projecting and blasting, did you notice how you could look literally, you could look right into the smoke and everything if you froze the screen, and you could see what looked like runes.
That's the thing that I've seen. And my question is this going to tie back to Doctor Strange at all?
Thank you. Now, the reason why I was going to ask the question was Doctor Strange, when all of them are doing their stuff, you can see runes. So this guy seems to know something about the magical world.
That'd be an interesting tie.
Exactly. Enough to, duplicate it. And my first thought is maybe he's like a failed student.
Let's say it's like stolen
of the ancient one. Maybe he went over there and things didn't work out. Maybe he never got magic and just decided, hey, you know what? You guys don't want to teach me? Screw you. I'll figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
But that would be an interesting connection that nobody saw coming.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Mysterio. I think the most out of this movie. Like, Spider-Man's great, Black Suit's great, whatever. We're not getting Venom in this. So Mysterio, hands down, the character I'm looking forward to, just like Keaton as the Vulture. I think that Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor. He is one of my favorites, and I'm super, super excited to see what he does here.
He's going to be there as well, Keaton.
Oh, is he going to be back?
I heard he's going to be back. Like, I saw his name. He's going to be back in some capacity. He may be in prison. It might be a prison visit. It may be breaking out, whatever it is. But he's going to be in there in some capacity. So it's going to be interesting to see what role he plays. I hope they do the same thing with Jake Gyllenhaal as well, because he's way too good to be in that role to begin with. But he's gonna make it awesome, and I expect to see him in this movie and not die. Like,
Hold on. Let me look this up because I just had an idea. Because it
Okay.
could easily happen at the end.
oh, by the way, Tom Holland tweeted something the other day. He's like, "So I talked to Sony," and then he put ellipsis like ... That's it. That's all he said. I'm like, huh. Spider-Man better movies happening.
I would to see Tom Holland next to Tom Hardy.
Yo, so I don't think that that's gonna happen.
It'd be sick.
But let's go ahead and shoot this out there, okay? Nerds from Work are gonna say it first. If we saw Michael Keaton's name, right? Naru said something about a prison break, right? Now we're getting Mysterio. Let me go ahead and list off the Sinister Six for you. Doc Ock, Electro, Kraven the Hunter, Mysterio, Sandman, Vulture.
If
we are getting Sandman in this one,
Yeah, so if we get Sandman,
that's like a
right?
blocky Sandman I saw in there.
Mysterio,
type.
Vulture, we need Doc Ock, Electro, and Kraven the Hunter.
dude, I'd be down for a Sinister Six movie with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
And Venom.
Dude, I want to see Tom Holland and Tom Hardy next to each other. Like, just visually them next to each other is like pictures that comic book perfect. Like
that portrayal would be interesting. That dynamic would be nuts.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. You have this like lanky 16-year-old kid next to this like freaking beef box of Tom Hardy. Dude, it'd be so perfect.
Oh, Tom Hardy is so small; they got to use all them camera tricks.
I'm
This is true. Tom Hardy is shit.
I'm thinking Venom and Spider-Man. That battle would be for the ages, and Spider-Man probably get killed because Venom was so bad.
From Sony, yeah, from this most recent.
Sony Venom. Oh yeah, he would. Yeah, he'd kick his ass all day, twice on Sundays.
All right, guys. That is going to wrap it up for this week. That's going to wrap up our Spider-Man Far From Home talk. And you heard it here first. The third Spider-Man movie is going to be the Sinister Six. Look for a prison breakout.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, Tank, tell them where to find you.
Yep, you guys can find me all over the internet at The Caped Critic. Yeah, man, we got a lot of cool stuff. Some live appearances coming on, so keep an eye on the website. It's going to be a lot of good stuff.
Rue, tell them where to find you.
You can find me all over the internet at the Nija Nerd. That's about the only place you can find me. You see me anywhere else, run.
Literally run. When you see him at the websites Brandon says, it's not him.
Brandon's the only guy on the show who goes to Grindr, though, so let's just be clear about that. I have looked into the mullet group. Some pretty groovy looking people there.
I think you're lacking the requirements to join the mullet love.
Hey, yo, have you ever heard of a wig? Come on, man. What's the matter with you?
For Dragon Con, we should all just show up with mullets.
Probably stop us at the door. Like, yo, I've seen some weird stuff, but a black man in a mullet, get the hell out of here.
Brandon, they'll be like, oh, man, I noticed you from mulletlove.com. Come on in. Are you Miller 425? Come on in.
Miller 425. You got more likes than anybody. Come on in, bud.
Come on in, brother. Hey, you guys can find me Houdini0333 on Instagram and Twitter. You can find all of us at The Nerds From Work on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, anywhere really that you find your whatever you listen to. Whenever you listen to this, if you're in the car, like me, like a loser in traffic, or if you're in your office like Brandon, listening to this through your headphones. Wherever you find us, wherever you find podcasts, you can find a list of our podcasts. We're on now season 3, guys. So you have 2 seasons of nonsense bullshit and a lot of guest appearances to catch up on, and a Dungeons & Dragons adventure that you guys already missed out on. So catch up on that stuff. We're in season 3. You can find us there. You can find us at TheNerdsFromWork.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at NerdsFromWork. You can find us on Patreon. Obviously at patreon.com/TheNerdsFromWork. So supporting us, supporting our drinking habits.
This is true. We need help.
It's cheaper than a McDouble. So So a McDouble is what, $129 now? You can support us for $1 a month. Come on now. We're alcoholics. We need the booze. But yeah, guys, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. And if you made it this far, fucking golf clap. Good job, guys. All right. So, hey, from all of us here at the workplace, peace.